So long as like alchemy.
Sunday morning. Everybody's like, yo, Al, when are you going to speak on this? When are you going to speak on that? Right? Well, it's been, every team's played, what, like 2 or 3 games, some 3, right, in this new season, and already.
Go get the strap.
It's fire. It's fire. We anticipated this. The storylines, all these faces in new places, and it's just popped off already, man. So I'm going to start chronologically, and I'm going to start with that Golden State-Utah game Friday night. And let's be real, Warrior fans, we haven't had a regular season game like that, and I'm counting 2 years plus, right? It was something to behold. Now, Utah is the greatest threat to the Warriors in the Western Conference. Let's make no mistake about it. I think it's facts. Now, you know, you're going to have Rockets fans saying not so fast, but that's subjective. That's my opinion. Now, Utah has had health issues looking at some of the key players they're going to rely on this season, mainly Rudy Gobert. And then you saw Dante Exum, that boy got the juice, and he hasn't played more than, like 50 games in a regular season. But you see the 6'6" lefty, explosive. They've just got it all. And then they have a top coach, great home court advantage, elevation. So if they're healthy, year 2 of the Spider Donovan Mitchell, I really foresee Utah being a problem and being a 2 or 3 seed in the Western Conference, given health, right? Let's get into this game Friday night. Now, there were some storylines. We've always got to add context to these games and these events before they happen, because it's everything. It is. It really is. So going into this game, you had Utah go into Sacramento on Sacramento's opening night and find themselves down 16 points in the first quarter to, you know, a Kings team that no one respects, let's be honest. And so the talk around the Jazz was, yo, we're just cruising with our talent through preseason. We haven't really hit our stride. We don't look the way we want to look. And so you knew for their home opener against the champs, they wanted to come out electric, right? Now, from Golden State's perspective, they went into Utah last year and got beat by 30 and then 40 points at the end of the season. I know there wasn't everybody playing, but still, you're looking at a team that Golden State is aware they're gonna have to see Utah, right? Whether throughout the playoffs, this is going to be a matchup that they're going to have to answer for. So I thought both teams had added incentive to show out, and even though it was just game 2 of the season, and that's what we got, man. That's what we got. Now, the game before that, I want to talk a little bit about that Toronto-Boston game. And the thing that struck me about that game, and Nick Nurse, the new coach for the Raptors, the amount of threes that were being chucked up in that game by Toronto. I know Nurse is an analytics guy. It just wasn't aesthetically pleasing. You got Anunoby and Siakam. It's one thing to green light a shooter. And when I say a shooter, I'm talking like a CJ Miles. I'll even throw Lowry in that group now, right? But when you're green light athletes to just pump threes, it can get ugly. But they looked good and they won. But the point is, this is the way the NBA is going. The old school coaches are getting pushed out, and the new analytics guys are taking their spots. And you're seeing it where it's kind of like shoot the 3 at any cost. So back to Utah and Golden State. Utah uncorked the 3 ball. Would they shoot like 46, 47 3-pointers to Golden State's 19? It's like everybody's trying to catch up to the Warriors, and all of a sudden Golden State has pumped the brake on the 3 ball, and they only shot 19 in the game. Most of them were by Steph, right? So Utah comes out, and they're doing what they do, hitting threes. And the first culprit that I want to talk about in this, first off, Golden State wasn't as dialed in as you'd want to see them defensively. And to be fair, no teams are right now. So that's that, right? But the first culprit, I think, of the 3 ball in this game, of Golden State giving up so many 3 balls, was Kevin Durant. Now, I'll admit this to you. So I watched the game 2.5, 3 times in my editing for my patron edit, which is out the next day. Peep that, because y'all are checking for them old first takes. They're not around no more. They're not around. I got to do new shit. Anyway, so rewatching it, every time Utah, so you've got guys running to the 3-point line in transition, and it just was the same culprit over and over again. Kevin Durant, his transitional awareness, that's a new rating. 2K, listen up, live, listen up, transitional awareness. It can be both offensively and defensively. And I'll help you out here. Iguodala, his transitional awareness is like a 99, right? A 98. Well, KD's ain't that. KD's is low, man. And I don't know how much of it is actual awareness or just want, but he kind of coasts back in transition to the paint and then looks around and then is too late closing out on the shooter. And that's what was happening repeatedly. I want to credit Quinn Snyder in their execution, using a lot of the Warriors stuff against them, double screens, dribble handoffs in the corner. And then Joe Ingles, Jingles Ingles, the man who lives in a van, what was he, like 7 of 9 from 3? So Utah was just shooting ridiculously well, but I don't think it was by coincidence. I think the Warriors gave them a bunch of open shots, and then once they got hot and confident, it was like a snowball effect, right? Now, I don't want to completely pick on Durant. The man had 38 points, and he was working the mid-range game, the 1 foot step backs, and so he was doing his thing offensively. It just wasn't both ends of the floor, and I think that gets overlooked because he dropped 38. But he was a big culprit defensively. Let me slow down here on this Sunday morning. The second thing was Draymond Green, man, and I said something, and he's such a polarizing subject. I said something when, towards in my call of the game, the man I hate to love, man, because I'll be honest with y'all. One, being a coach, albeit a low-level coach when I did coach, I always view the game, and coaches will relate to this. Once you've coached the sport, you always see what's wrong, not what's positive. That's just kind of that's the lens you view things through. And so Draymond, now, defensively, it's never going to be an issue. The effort's always going to be there, right? He may get over-aggressive, and you could see him and Rudy Gobert started to trade words. I think the crowd plays into that in Utah. They're down on you, and you can really hear them. And I just thought his emotions got away from him. He was complaining too much. Yes, the referees were calling everything. I think they doubled us over in free throws, right? But another point to that is Quinn Snyder coached them up. Some of those running into Steph Curry and flopping Rubio, those guards did a masterful job of drawing fouls and flopping. Is Utah the new Houston? Shout out to whoever tweeted that to me. But I thought Draymond's emotions got away from him. And it's never an issue defensively. It's on the offensive end where we know he's already such a liability. Half the time that shot doesn't even get over the rim, right? The trajectory never comes over the rim. So that's a problem. But I thought that he got frustrated and he was forcing the issue, and it was making him have poor decisions, and it was wearing on the Warriors. I thought it was breaking their rhythm offensively because Draymond was just in his feelings, man, and it was getting ugly. At one point, it was a 16-point lead, and I was calling them everything, man. I get mad. I curse during the games at calling everybody. I'm quick to flip. But it's like he always reels you back in. He's one of those redemption players, right? Every time you're like, man, I can't stand this dude. What's he do? Knock down a 3. Take a block charge call, right? And so he reeled it back in when he got inserted back in the fourth quarter. Apparently, he tweaked the ankle. I didn't catch that. He reeled it in, and we know what he can do when he's dialed in, right? But I thought in that first half, it got away from him, and he hurt us a lot. Obviously, Jonas Jerebko, you want to talk about redemption, gave him just the tip. No, but it was a tremendous finish to the game, and obviously it's like a welcome to the Warriors moment. I thought it was dope. There was some fatigue. You saw KD. I liked what they were running offensively with him at the mid post, setting Steph off screens at the top. But I think KD, they got tired at that altitude and the pace that Utah was playing. And this is going to continue to be a rivalry. So I'm excited for that. Now, the other bit of news that's come out of these first 2 games that I need to address is where's Jordan Bell? Where's Jordan Bell, y'all? And I know everybody's speculating and what's good. Now, we know Kerr's dynamic in his lineups. I don't think things are set. Now, as I record this Sunday morning, Jordan Bell could play 20 minutes tonight in Denver. So I don't want to jump to conclusions here. We still haven't seen the rookie Jacob Evans, right? And you're seeing a dude that they signed on a 2-way contract, Alfonso McKinney, get heavy minutes. He hit a 3 in that game. But I've heard whispers of, are they going to trade Jordan Bell? He's out of the rotation, and they need another wing. Not so fast, man. We played 2 games. So I want to see McKinney, but I want to see Jacob Evans more importantly. And I think we've got to wait at least through Christmas to see if Jacob Evans can get acclimated with the NBA and give this Warriors roster spot minutes. Now, come January, and Jacob Evans still can't see the floor, then yeah, man, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. But we can't dismiss also that Jordan Bell, you've heard stories of him and his work ethic being maybe a little bit questionable and how his head can get very large. So Kerr also may be trying to just keep the young dude modest, right? He's got him on a tighter leash than some of these other guys where like a Damian Jones, you got to pat him on the back, right? You got to constantly pat him on the back and big him up. Jordan Bell, it's the other way around, I think. I think you got to kind of humble him. So that may be part of the reason why he's not seeing early minutes. Let's take a look at LeBron getting ready for the Lakers opener at Staples.
It's been hard too. I'm gonna get all the hoes in Magic City one. All the hoes be on me like, ooh. See, most niggas be putting that on spray on that shit. I ain't gotta spray my shit. You know what I'm saying? That's your shit. When you through, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to look too far. Man.
I'm messing with y'all. All right, so this Laker, here's I haven't said this on tape, but I've been thinking this for quite a while. And Laker fans, the hardcore Laker fans, I don't think this is a secret, but just to the casuals in the NBA broad media, let's address the elephant in the room with the Lakers right now. Can y'all guess what it is? Kyle Kuzma is better than Brandon Ingram. That's what it is to me. I think you've seen Shaq kind of allude to it on TNT, but without kind of saying it, you know. But I think that's the elephant in the room to me. And so this was an exciting game. Everybody tuned in. I don't know the ratings yet, and I think at this point, if you're watching this video, you already know the drama, and I'm going to speak on it for sure. But I think the thing that, if you want to talk about what I took away from the game was, one, you saw, shout out to JaVale. I'm going to always have love for JaVale because what he contributed to the Warriors championships runs, right? But he had like 16 points, 5 blocks. But the fact that they were feeding JaVale the ball in this game, I'm not taking shots at JaVale. It's more of an indictment on the rest of the roster. Like, yo, you don't have enough guys that could score. Like, JaVale is a very nice player, but he's not a guy you give the ball. He was like making moves off the dribble and shooting jumpers. And so that's a bit of an indictment to this roster. And how soon is Josh Hart going to replace KCP in the starting lineup? Luke's got some changes to make. And again, I'm not dissing Ingram in the fact that, like, yo, he's a bum. He's not a bum. He has attributes and he's a nice NBA player. I just think Kuzma is a much better fit, specifically with LeBron on the roster, because he's a pure scorer. But it was just weird to see them feeding McGee and LeBron. We know he likes to pace himself, man. But I know this was running through all your heads because it was running through mine. Like, it was like, yo, did LeBron wake up in Los Angeles and just become old? Because not only was he passive, but when he decided to go for his, it just didn't quite look the same. Now it's game 2. I'm not saying it yet, but right, I think we're all thinking it like, yo, he's kind of looking sluggish. He's very passive. But I know people will point to the fact that whenever he's changed teams, this is kind of what he's done for the first few weeks of the season, kind of feeling out the process and seeing what's what with guys. And so that's fair. You can't write LeBron off, but I'm just saying, I'm telling you what I saw. He looks sluggish. They're feeding JaVale the ball to get him buckets. And it's very obvious that starting lineup is going to have to change, whether it be Josh Hart or Kyle Kuzma being inserted into that. Late in the game, well, no, let's talk on the fight. Let's do it chronologically. First off,
Free smoke, hey.
that shit was fun, right? That shit was, and you could see it building up, right? You saw Rondo and you saw CP. There were a lot of hard collisions. Then there was the horse collar, the clothesline on Josh Hart. And so when people say blame the refs, they let it escalate, which, hey, man, I'm fine with, right? I'm fine with. It was fun. First off, and I got Rondo. If they go in 10 rounds, I got Rondo. I don't think it's like a clear-cut thing, but I like the length, and I think Rondo's probably a little more dirty. But calling somebody more dirty than CP, I don't know if I could do that. But anyway, it was very entertaining. And you know what, Ingram, it kind of reminded me, like, did we just see Ingram's nuts drop on national television on Saturday night, right? Because I loved what Ingram did. And you understand it. If you're a hooper, if you play ball, you understand why he shoved Harden. It's like enough's enough. The dude does all these little things that he gets away with. It's an accumulation. And it was kind of cool to see the young boy snap, right? He kind of got on his school shooter shit. Like he was like on some nut shit. Lance, you know it's a problem when Lance is like Ingram, right? That was wild. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. It was fun to see the actual altercation. If you do want to go back and look at it, Melo doesn't do a damn thing. Melo's like, just like on the defensive end, right? He didn't do a damn thing, and he was right there. That was funny. But here's the point I want to make. People aren't going to like this take, but after the altercation, yes, I know LeBron was like consoling CP, and you can question that look. I understand that they're longtime friends, but that was odd. But here's the thing. After the altercation, it's a 1-point game, and I'm like, oh, the Lakers going to win this, right? They're at home. You could see the emotion oozing out of Ball and Hart and these young dudes after the incident, right? And you're like, oh, LeBron's going to take them home now after this, right? Nah, none of that, right? And I was just super disappointed in the way LeBron let that game close out. And I want to bring up the corner three from PJ Tucker, right? Because LeBron, in my understanding of the defense, now I don't know it, I'm not in Lakers practice, but from what I understand, he's supposed to stunt down at Capella and then get back out to the corner shooter. He rotates down to Capella, turns his back, lets the 3-ball drop, and then puts his hands up to Kuzma and these young dudes. And that was disgusting to me, and it was flashbacks of Cleveland, and there was no Tristan Thompson to call him on his shit. And it's awful early for him to be doing that. Awful early, man. And it just that he didn't have any more emotional energy or juice after that altercation to ride for this new team. Hey, if you fall down, stay down. Let your brothers pick you up. You didn't pick your brothers up, LeBron. You didn't do it. And I couldn't help but think like, yo, Kobe may not have hit a game winner or may not even won that game, but Kobe on one Achilles would have not went out like that. Facts. That's just what it is. Now, this is all early on. This is game 2 of the season, and we got this much drama, man. But y'all know I had to check in and give you my takes on these 2 games. I'll be back doing the Denver game tonight for the Warriors on my Patreon, and then I hit you with an NBA Alchemy probably Tuesday. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.
So long as like alcohol.